Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Valvoline and Sparesbox. Don't forget Benny 5 on checkout. This week's a pretty exciting week. We're down here at Circle D Specialties with Chris, and he's going to give us the grand tour of the facility. Now, Chris is the owner down here, and he's the chief and understands how all of this process works.
Everything.
So we're going to wander through and check out the facility because this thing is amazing, and I've never seen anything like it. So let's start the tour, Chris.
So this is the shipping and receiving area. I just got a bunch of cords in. Obviously a big part of our process. We do use quite a few components from the OE converters still. Shipping and receiving here, you can see these boxing up converters. We have our flux plates, bolt togethers, 300 millimeters, 278, 245, 10 speed, 8 speed, all wrapped up in there. Some 6 speed, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the amount of stock and equipment you guys have on hand. It's mind-boggling to see the volume as compared to, say, in Australia, where the biggest converter shop would be less than a quarter of this space and less than a quarter of the cords in stock.
It's pretty cool that it's grown this big. Something that you never really envisioned getting this big. At least I didn't. It's the kind of thing you just keep making good product and good service and keep on snowballing.
The customer service factor of it's definitely sets you guys apart from other companies that I've dealt with before.
So over here we have our cut area. This is where we start the production side of things. So we've got a CNC cut machine over here, and we've got our old faithful over there called Big Joe. That's where we do our manual cutting. So we try to do as much as we can on the CNC. It's a much cleaner cut and faster cut. But some things are just easier to do on the manual because we'll quick one off. And then our conveyor parts washer and a little bit of a solvent tank over there to kind of get all the oil and debris off of it and run through. And that kind of the first procedure of getting the converters going is getting all the cores cut open, the parts washed up and ready to move on to the next stage. And depending on what it is, it has multiple avenues. Some stuff will go directly to CNC and get a procedure done to it. Like a lot of our impellers and turbines will go right over to CNC. Not much manual stuff on those anymore. And here's a good example. So this would be a 245 pump right here. Starts off like here, and these have actually already been furnace brazed, so they've been off the furnace brazing and back. But they'll go over to CNC and get a hole popped in them, so they're all screwed up that way. And then it goes over to the hub guys over here to get the hubs popped in. 4 manual lathes left over here for our procedures. That'll be our turbines and impellers mostly. You can see we're working on some of our bolt together high-end stuff. So this is 252 right there, so there'll be some type of a big shaft, looks like a 35 spline. And that kind of rolls into a 6L80, 252, looks like another 6L80, 252, so on and so forth. But all that kind of stuff is sticking out there. This is kind of where he does a lot of this nesting work there. Rolls around, you can see he's putting an impeller hub on there, doing some final cleanup on there, checking run out. Over here is where we do our bonding of our pistons, doing some stator work and some front cover cleanup.
Yeah, I didn't realize, I was talking to Pete before about some of the single disc lockup stuff, and he said that you guys actually process the discs here. Correct. It's not outsourced or anything, it's all in-house.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Two ATI bonders, they make a really nice piece of that. It's all hydraulic based, so no air fluctuations in the line there.
Yeah, that's impressive.
More of our Pro Series pump, so this is going to be an 8L90, a little bit warm still. So that was one we got installed, furnace brazed, TIG welded. That one still needs to get a little bit of polish work on it, and then the bushing popped in it, and she's good to go for the build team. So this one's got just more storage of pre-prep parts. Possibly you can tell these have been TIG welded, ready for the next stage there. A little bit of the tips of the blades are welded to reinforce that. Furnace brazing does most of the work, but the TIG welding helps out for any type of deviation there. So that's what we got. 3 guys sit over here all day long. Got a little TIG weld. One's obviously not here right now. So he's got a 10 speed he's doing right there, doing some TIG welding on. Here's our, so this is going to be our 258s mostly. Again, these are over here. You got big balloon plates on them for something pretty powerful. There's like stage 2 stuff XG. He's about to do that. Our custom made stators, which we'll roll into that in a little while when we hit the CNC. So he's welding the outside ring on those. So here we'll go hit the CNC section next. Kind of show off there what we do with our billet fronts, some of our in-house procedures there, and the stators on our 5-axis. So you can see there we're resurfacing some 10-speed clutch surface there. This is going to be 265 millimeter stuff here. These two are just basically a manual lathe for all intents and purposes. We treat them like that because they do all the cleanup for it. So all automated, touch off on some parts, pull some zeros, just all nice reference points.
The Kool-Aid looks a bit milky. Don't drink that.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's bad stuff.
Yeah, that's correct. Example here, these are 10-speed stators. They'll start off as a blank, and then they get milled here, so multiple varieties of 10-speed stuff. And this is all based on our CFD technology, computational fluid dynamics, here to help us design all those blades. So there's.
And this is pretty well industry leading, right? There's not a lot of converter companies that are making
not to my knowledge
with the airfoil design in them.
Yeah.
That's more of a traditionally an OEM type of technology, and you guys have adapted that for the performance industry.
Yeah, we have several engineers on board that have designed that stuff. I mean, it's an ever-growing technology. It's really coming into its own grasp. Probably 2022 we really started seeing the promises of it. We started that stuff probably in 2018, I believe, and just learning the software and hours and hours and I don't know, tens of hundreds of hours, so to speak. So this would be some of our 252 stuff. So that's what a blank would start off as. And you can see it getting machined over here. You can see like all of our billet fronts come in. We have several different forgings that are made for us. And they get turned into the stuff. You kind of see a few ops there.
Is it JZ?
No, that's a 4L80. So that's 11.5-inch bolt pattern. Multi-disc. We do our broaching in-house for all that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Multi-disc pistons there, back turbines, a lot of stuff everywhere. Yeah, seemingly chaotic, but hopefully a little bit of organized chaos.
One thing I've noticed is there's always so many different components in processing, and I don't really see there being much downtime or wait time for anything to build converters here. It seems like there's always constantly products on the go and material being processed. It's not like you'll get an order for one converter and then all of a sudden you go and process the parts for one converter. There's just shelves and shelves and stockpiles of raw material or raw component ready to go to assemble pretty much any combination.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do things in volume to make sense of the stuff. So.
Yeah, 100%. It makes it a lot easier, I guess, and a big selling point is that the customer's not really waiting around for 1, 2, 3 months for their product or their converter.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think lead time's around 2 to 3 weeks. When we get busy, it kind of bumps up a little bit, but we try to keep it in that 2-week range because I think that's acceptable for most industry standards. We can kind of keep up with that.
Yeah, a couple of weeks turnaround on it.
That's our LS flex plate there. That's already been coated and engraved there. That's a 6-bolt one there for the LS. Most LS stuff. LT gonna have their 8-bolt.
8-bolt crank position.
Correct.
Crank bolt. Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, the flex plates are identical. So each one will have every bolt pattern pretty much possible.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So very interchangeable, other than your crank being 6 or 8. More billet fronts in process here. So you can kind of see this one. This one only has off one done to it, so that one's still going to be a raw forging on the inside.
Yeah, wow.
Really light too.
It looks it. Yeah. You hide it well.
So 6R80, single disc 252. This would be a C7 multi. Yeah. That one's already broached on the inside.
Yeah, wow.
It rolls into over here with our build area.
Yeah, this welding machine's really cool. I've never seen anything like it.
That's pretty much industry standard.
Yeah, people are saying it's pretty common that everyone sort of runs the same or very similar type of machine. Everything I assume the operator would tack it, but yeah, it seems to sort of do its own thing even with the tack welding.
Now take about a minute to weld. These are already welded, ready to be pressure tested.
So is pressure testing a pretty common process for a converter? Like that's pretty much every shop would be pressure testing?
Oh yeah, I mean the weld, we have very few leaks, but still, I mean either one of 100 is too many, so you can have a leak in the car. So you imagine that wouldn't be fun as an end user. Because
obviously anything that leaks air on this converter is going to be fluid in the car.
Right, small drip in the bell housing at worst, Yeah. And then in plate, height check, balance check, run out, all that kind of stuff, make sure everything's nice and true. Come over here for the final paint job for our signature black and gray and clear. Head back over there for shipping.
And that's the life cycle of a Circle D converter. So it's pretty impressive setup here, and I keep saying it, but it just blows me away the size of this operation and the sheer volume of converters that you guys process. And I guess that's just attributed to the market size here as opposed to at home. But yeah, it's just absolutely mind-boggling coming from Australia and kind of checking this place out. But yeah, it's a credit to you guys. It's an amazing facility. What does Circle D mean? What's that about?
So Circle D. So my dad's name is Dennis. That's where the D comes from.
Yep.
And he used to circle track race. So he had a sprint car back in the 60s, 70s kind of range. So.
Yeah, cool. So the name is second generation?
Correct.
And I think Pete also mentioned that your father does transmissions as well?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, my mom and dad started Circle D Transmission back in '76.
Yeah, cool.
And then they had problems getting quality torque converters. They started building their own kind of in the 80s. It grew into Circle D Specialties, which was doing a lot of OE converters for probably 150 transmission shops in Houston.
Yeah,
so
wow.
we had a pretty big volume there. And then started tinkering with performance, and you know, we would do one a month and one a week and then two a week and so on and so forth, where eventually the OE line died out. We didn't do that stuff anymore, so all pretty much we're, you know, 99.9% performance work. That's it.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility and setup, and yeah, I really thank you for having us down today.
Absolutely.
It's been a fantastic thing, and thanks for hosting us as well with the cars and everything. We truly couldn't do what we're doing at the moment without you guys, so massive thanks again.
Our pleasure. Happy to have you.
Well, that pretty much wraps up the tour. I just want to say again a massive thanks to Chris and all the guys here today. We've turned their music off and stopped them actually working, so massive thanks to all the staff down here at Circle D Specialties. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.